Welcome back from the break. You are still with the Be Bold Show, and as I promised before we went to break, you did not want to miss this. And now it is time to get ready to see the movers and the shakers in the film industry. We will be following somebody in a day in the life of an actress.
Woo! I can't wait for that.
Welcome. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Feeling nice and composed.
How did you get into the entertainment industry to begin with? I mean, there's so many people who want to do this. Where did you begin?
Well, one thing I've realized with the entertainment industry, whether in front of camera, behind camera, is that everybody's story is so different. You know what I mean? Because it's not like if you want to become a doctor, you have to go to school for X amount of years and you practice. No, like anybody can fall into it. I think it has a lot to do with luck in order for you to be successful. Yes, talent, of course, but you need so many little components. And I think for me, my story was just literally born out of passion and love for what I like, just performing. You know, as a kid, I was always fascinated with that box, the television. And I remember being very young and asking an auntie of mine, how do people get inside the television? How do they get in? And I remember she said to me, well, there's small people that live inside the box. And, when you turn it on, they actually just perform and they do all these performances for you.
So you believed her?
I believed her. So when I got a little bit older and I walked past a TV repair shop, and I realized the back was open and there was no people inside. So I was like, somebody's been telling porkies. So essentially that was pretty much it. But then I always did school plays. I was always that talkative kid in class. And I think I didn't like the maths and the sciences. My brain was a bit more creative. I like English, performing, wild imagination. I think I still have it. And guess my turning point came when, as a kid, after school place in West London where I grew up, called YCTV, stands for Youth Culture Television. That was just a training place for young kids, where they trained you in all aspects of TV. So camera, lights, directing, editing, you name it. And it was just an after school club. And it was set up as like a charity. And I was having like a whole bunch of fun with my friends. We'd make little TV shows. Wasn't really taking it seriously because my goal was to become an actor. But then, because it was a TV studio, young kids, you have 10-year-old directors, and it was just a whole bunch of fun.
Everyone was going crazy with imagination.
Yeah, and we used to actually make real TV programs. So I remember I got a call one day from one of the producers, and he said to me, Amma, what are you doing next week? And I was like, nothing, just being a normal little teenage kid. And then he's like, okay, well, cool. Next week, do you want to interview Harrison Ford? I was like, excuse me? Yeah. The Harrison Ford. I was like, of course. He's like, okay, well, it's not going to come that easy. I want you to do research. And the person with the most interesting questions will be selected to interview him. So I went all out. Like me, when I want something, I don't stop. I was like, I'll get it. I was doing everything I needed to do. I got all my research and I submitted some questions and I put some fun, silly questions in there as well. And I got selected. And a week later, I was on the red carpet in London with the man Harrison Ford.
You grew up in London, in the UK. How did you transition from there to Ghana? What made you decide to come back, first of all? And what has made you decide to stay?
Honest truth, because I didn't grow up in Ghana, like I left as a kid. So, I don't have any schoolmates. I don't have I went to this school and there's something called Jama and all that. I'm like, I hate you people. I didn't have none of that. I was very disconnected from it. But I remember I have a friend who said to me, Amma, look, the time is now. You're Ghanaian. You're living in Europe. You're living in the West. The West is established. You have your skills and talent. Come back. Because, really, it's whether you're in wherever you are, you're always going to be Ghanaian. It doesn't matter where you grew up. So I was like, okay. So I used to come on holiday and it was a bit of fun, go back. But when I actually did make the decision, I literally, say I decided on a Thursday, I was on the plane I think on a Monday. It was like a 3-day thing.
Not really like you planned it out and came back. You just got up on it.
You got on the plane. It was like my career, and I felt like things were just kind of slow in England. So I just took the opportunity and I came. And before I knew it, I'd stayed longer than any other time in my life. Things just started falling into place. There was no master plan, but I remember saying to myself, you know what? On the flight, when I was coming, I'm like, okay, look, God, there's a reason why I'm getting drawn to Ghana. Let your will be done. And I'm going to go in there, I'm going to go and do the media, I'm going to do TV, I'm going to do films. And that was it. And I'm still here.
And how did you get the connections? Because you're saying you didn't grow up here, you didn't know a lot of people. How did you get your first movements in the industry?
I guess, you know what it is? I know a lot of, I started meeting, it's a small industry, I started meeting people in the industry, and a lot of times, oh yeah, Charlie, make we do something, Charlie, call them, phone off, oh, and, you know, just some chance meetings, but one thing I said, nothing, I didn't let it deter me. I got disappointed after a while. I'm just thinking, oh Charlie, should I just go back? My parents, they're my family. They call my family, so that I'm pretty much here alone. You know, I have extended family, aunties and uncles and, you know, cousins who were great. But I'm essentially here alone. But I think what it was is I said to myself mentally, failure is not an option. It is not an option. You know, you're gonna do it. And so in my mind, I didn't have a cushion. So I had to make it work.
Okay, so how do you prepare for a role?
Each role is different that you sort of get into, but essentially for me, what I tend to use a lot of still moments, a lot of quiet moments, possibly getting myself away from my family and friends, a lot of reading. For Singing Sands in particular, it took me over 3 months to prepare for the role. She's total opposite of me. So it's about getting into that mindset. I try as much to do some kind of method acting as possible. I'm not that disciplined per se, but I definitely adopt, levels of method acting when I'm doing a role. And like for Singing Signs, it's about domestic abuse. I did a lot of reading about domestic abuse, battered women syndrome, why they choose to stay. Just getting the dictionary out and really understanding. And
did you talk to other women too?
Funny enough is I didn't. Most people at the time, I didn't find anybody. It's not like in England where you can go to a battered women's shelter. I didn't find anybody sort of willing to talk about. But so I did a lot of reading, United Nations websites, and just from that, and also from a point of view, it's trying to put myself in that person's framework. And not being judgmental as well. When you're an actor, you have to eliminate a lot of judgment because you're possibly playing somebody who you do not like as a person. How do you embody that? It's a mental thing for me a lot. And I use a lot of quiet moments, stillness, to mentally get it prepared. How does she walk? How does she talk? I'm also very observant. I look at this person, I'm like, okay, I like how she walks. Maybe that's how Pammy walks.
How do you remember the person that you are? Because you're embodying this completely different human being. How do you always remember who you personally are?
It's a level of luckily, it's a level of commitment that I think you take on. But then it's almost like when you're in the office. When you're in the office, it's different when you're with your friends or your family. So when you're with your family, So you get in the office and, okay, if I work in a bank, hello, you totally compose yourself different. Even phones, like right now, if my phone rings and is my mom, how I'm going to talk to her will be totally different to how if my boss calls me, how I'm going to be to if I'm talking to maybe a guy that I have it's like I have a question about your whole demeanor changes. So it's pretty much the same. So it's that thing of, but sometimes you do wear it a bit too well. But then what breaks it is the minute you go home.
Actresses are often stigmatized. Let's put it that way. We always think, they're probably sleeping with a producer to get a film. They're probably doing drugs, drinking a lot of alcohol, doing a lot of partying, How do you deal with that stigma?
Well, that stigma I mean, the stigma is pretty much attached to a lot of careers. With the acting, I totally understand. I mean, I even had an auntie said, "Hey, so when you people you kiss on screen, is it really kissing?" And I'm like, some people really do kiss, and yeah, there are germs being transferred back and forth. But what you need to understand is even when you're shooting a lovemaking scene, what people don't know behind the camera is there's probably about 50 people in the room watching. It's the most uncomfortable thing ever. No matter, even if you have Brad Pitt, it's still going to be uncomfortable because
As romantic and sexy.
not at all. Not at all. Nothing. So it's that thing of where a lot of people see how you portray a certain character as that's really you. And to be honest, I'm not being mad. Yes, there's a stigma and there's a stereotype, but there's a truth, left side of truth to every stereotype. Yes, some actors, and actresses, whatever, sleep with producers and directors. But then some nurses may sleep with doctors.
What does your boyfriend think if you are kissing another man?
I think anybody that ever dates an actor, if you're a woman, your husband is an actor, your boyfriend, and vice versa, even when you go and say, it's not romantic. Does that make sense?
So it's not really cheating.
It's only cheating if it's George Clooney. George Clooney, call me. No, I'm just joking. I think it is. It's you pretty much have to know that it's a career, it's a business. Whether your girlfriend works in a bank or she's a chef or it is what it is, it's a level of professionalism. And yeah, it's make believe. It's make believe. Yeah. So I think. Don't go and date an actor or an actress unless you can deal with it.
Now, to all the young people out there that are watching you here right now, what do you have to say to them if they want to start in this industry and become an actor or actress?
First and foremost, I get on my Twitter, on my Facebook, I get it a lot. I want to be a star. I think I can act. Please help me. First thing I'll say to anybody that wants to get into this industry, you need a dose of reality check. Why do you want to do this? What is your motivation to do this? People think being a star is easy. So if you want to be a star, don't act. It's a lot of work. Do a YouTube video. Get 1 million hits. You can get 1 million hits in a few days and then you're a star. That's it. But if you really want to do this, what is your motivation? What is your passion? Can you cut it? The disappointment, the rejection. With my background in theatre, one of the things that we always, you do in theatre a lot is improvisation. And for me, as a hyperactive person, what I balance with a lot is stillness. Okay. So there's this game we used to play called Tableaus. It's a performance game. So what you do is you get one or two, three performers or challengers, and essentially you, for example, you start in a moment of stillness. So in any position, when I click my fingers, you start improvisation. When I click it, somebody else joins, and whatever they do, you need to improvise it. So click, and it can go on till more people join or people leave. It's like, yeah, so improvisation with stillness work. So.
Anyway, Chris, I was just wondering, would you ever date an actor?
Nope. Not at all.
Why not?
Well, all that kissing and stuff, I don't think I can do it.
But see, this is a discussion we have a lot, because I think that when you are an actor, that is your job. You are supposed to go out there, and if a director tells you, take off your clothes and start kissing, you have to make it look as real as you possibly can.
And that is why I cannot.
Would you get jealous?
Yes. Why not? I mean, your kissing is some kind of... let's look at Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. What happened to them? Let's look at all these people that get married on set. You're touching, you're having connection, you're acting,
so it's possible. That's true.
And then you just fall in love. I can't do that. I can't do it. But hey, I mean, I'm married, so I'll never know, right?
That's true. That's very true. Well, I'm afraid this brings us to the very end of another Be Bold show.
Yeah, but guys, like I always say, on our website www.thebeboldshow.com, you can go on there, find out all the people we've interviewed. We have a directory on there set up for you to find out everyone on there. And also, if there's anyone you know out there that's special, that's bold, that is inspiring people around you, whether bringing education, leadership, or development to us, well, let us know about it, and we will be sure to showcase them on the show. Now, to our sponsors, Sarah.
Definitely our sponsors. We have Accents and Arts, as always, because they make us this beautiful furniture. We have Christy Brown, YMX, Capture Your Memory Bank,
Headlines, Salon for all our hair, Rochelle Thompson for doing our makeup and styling. Yes. Who else? Well, for all those out there that have been helping people, supporting us in any way possible, thank you so much for making that possible. That's all we have for you for this show. Be bold!
Be bold, and see you
next week.
Bye.
And don't forget to like our Facebook page. It's www.facebook.com/The Be Bold Show. Remember, the 999th person to like the page wins this beautiful hamper from Lane Organics.